I don't even know where to start, Keith. Where do we start?
I do.
Go on.
Same question, Des, that we just gave to the boys. 3 crucial decisions in that match today. Asgard red card, Trusty not a red card, and the Rangers penalty. Give me your thoughts, please. Educate me.
Well, I'll educate folk Monday to Friday, so this is overtime. So on the first one, yes, I think the Asgard one was a red card. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. I completely agree with the guys that there is no intent whatsoever. It was just unfortunate the way the ball's landed. He's challenged Ralston. You can't challenge like that. So yes, I agree, a red card for that. And it's unfortunate on the young man because, as I say, there was no intent, but you can't challenge on it. Trusty, the next 2 ones are probably the most difficult ones. Trusty on first viewing, I didn't think it was a red card when I seen it. Didn't think it was a red card. On review of it, there was no brutality, there was no speed. The only thing that doesn't sit right with me is, why is he doing it when the goalkeeper's got the ball in his hands? Mm-hmm. He is extremely, extremely lucky. Extremely lucky. I can understand why Nick has given it, and VAR have looked at it and said, okay, we'll back you up because there's no speed, brutality, intent, force, etc. But if a red card was given, I would have no qualms in that whatsoever. He's got away with one there.
Are you changing position on this, Des, a little bit? Because you seem to agree that the right decision was a yellow card.
No, I'm okay. Yeah. I'll stick with my decision. I'll go yellow card. Okay.
So it's okay to kick somebody in the face.
Don't you try and twist things here. No, I don't think there was any intent there. I was happy.
It's all intent, Dave. It's all intent. It's absolutely intent because Trusty's foot doesn't need to go anywhere near Jack Butland. Trusty moves his foot to make contact with Jack Butland's face. It's not to get to the ball. It's not a challenge. It's he moved his foot to make contact with Jack Butland's face.
So
it's all intent.
No, I disagree with that, and I'm going to stick with my opinion. I think he's went to play the ball, realise he's not getting it, and it's not got there. So I'm going to be on first opinion. I think yellow card. What I would say is, and this is where I'm going to back up myself. My opinion is yellow card. If I was called across by VAR to say, Des, you need to have a look at this and see what you think, then I would be of the opinion to say, okay. However, Nick wasn't called across to look at it.
That's a very good point.
Which, therefore, VAR has decided that there is nothing there. And VAR being Stephen McLean, and assistant VAR being Andrew Dallas, they are then corroborating and agreeing with Nick Walsh. Now, as I say, I'm big enough and ugly enough to, if I make a mistake, I'll make my opinion on the pitch. I thought it was a yellow card. I'm happy with yellow cards. However, if I was called across to say, Des, would you like to have a look at it? I would potentially change my mind on that and went, do you know what? He's been a bit naughty there. And I would have taken my decision. But that didn't happen on the field of play.
Well, I mean, here's some of the comments that are coming in on this, guys. The Greatest Showman says, does Trusty endanger an opponent? Yes, he doesn't need to do what he does. Red all day. Scotland's Most Wanted says, Trusty was just wiping the sweat from Butland's brow with his boot and a sign of fair play and good sport. John says, Trusty flicked out petulantly, a wee flick. And Marzuno says, kick in the face. He moved his foot towards him and then pulled out. And this one from Martin says, don't imagine Trusty did that on purpose. It's just the way he landed.
He wasn't falling. He was standing up, and he flicked his boot into Jack Butland's face, and the ball was dead. The ball was in Jack Butland's hands. I think it was. Do you know what? He should have probably got sent off for stupidity alone, because there was no need for him to do it. He was taking an extraordinary risk, given the context of the game and given the red card that had previously been shown to Asgard. I think it was just Look, I think he was trying to boot Jack Butland or do damage. Not really, but you don't really need to put that much force into it when it's a football boot in a face. And the fact is, he went out his way to make sure that he made contact. Now, he might well have had, in the process of doing it, realised this is crazy and kind of tried to stop himself, but he still made contact. It was just needless, and it was a huge risk to take. And I think he's a lucky guy.
We've got tons of people as well, Des, sorry, just asking about the penalty. Pegleg is one of them. What about the penalty?
Okay, so again, I've always been down the route of penalties for handball should be given for intent and deliberate. I don't see what Ralston could have done. He was falling down. He's tried to make his body smaller. He could potentially actually hurt himself with the way that he's falling down. He could have, and the ball was hit at him. For me, it's not a penalty kick. And I know Keith's going to come saying, like, if it hits below the t-shirt line, etc. But you've got to take every individual incident on its own merits. I don't think that's justifiable for a penalty kick.
What do you think,
Keith? Nick Walsh wasn't called over to look at that one either, was he?
No. And again, so we go back to the first one. Why is VAR there? VAR is there to correct any on-field decisions that the referee is not getting correct. So by neither of those being checked, they're backing up the referee. Mm-hmm. Why have VAR then? Why have VAR? VAR is there to make sure that wrongs are righted and things are not there. Yes, you're going to have an opinion, but at least give the referee the foresight to have a look at it for himself if he's been unsighted.
Help me with the rule book here with this one, Des, right? Because I think clearly that's the most important factor. I agree with you. Ralston is actually bringing his arms into his chest as much as he can in the act of falling to the ground, and in no way is it deliberate. No way.
No.
But does the rule book state that a shot that is net bound, goal bound, whatever the phraseology you want to use, if a shot is going on target and it's stopped by a defender's arm, it's a penalty kick? Is that too black and white? Is there a greyer area than that in the rule book? Just the actual rule itself.
Yeah, so that stopped being a mandatory yellow card 2 years ago.
Not a yellow card, penalty kick.
Yeah, no, it still can be a penalty kick because the ball struck them. It's not a yellow card because if the ball struck him, then the sanction is the penalty kick.
So in the rules, it's black and white. There's a black and white case to argue that as a penalty, the penalty was the right decision.
They could, yes, however you wish to justify it. And that's always the way. It's the referee how they can justify it. It said if you throw yourself at the ball, which I don't think you did, and the ball strikes your arm, it's not mandatory yellow card, so therefore it can't be sent off. And a penalty can be awarded. In my opinion, that shouldn't be awarded because Ralston has done everything he can to avoid it, and the Rangers player has struck the ball off him.
I mean, in the comments, as you can imagine, some very strong opinions. This one here from Craigie says, if Ralston is standing with his arms tucked like that, it's not a pen, but because he's falling and his arms are tucked in, it is a pen. This one here from Chris is one of a number of people saying Ralston got pushed onto the ball. John says, what else is Ralston supposed to do with his arms? We other people says, the way Ralston's diving, his natural position would be arms outstretched, but he's actually trying to avoid hand-to-ball contact. It's an absolute joke, and plenty more of that nature.
Yeah, I'm just not having that. If it was me, I would. And again, I would want VAR to get me across. I'd be happy to overturn that.
Interesting.
But VAR never get involved. On the two most major incidents of the game today, VAR never get involved.
Well, they did get involved. They just didn't ask Nick Walsh to come and see the screen for himself.
Yeah, well, yes. They never asked him to overturn it. Never asked him to have an opinion on it.
See, I'm in between with this one, right? If it doesn't strike Ralston's arm, it's making its way towards goal, yeah? Because his arm is actually the lowest point. As he's fallen pretty much horizontally, and his arm are the lowest part of his body. So it doesn't hit his elbow. it goes under him and it hits the target. So on that basis, what I'm trying to work out here is the terms of the rule book. And in the terms of the rule book, if a shot is stopped by a defender's arm, whether it's intentional or otherwise, it's a penalty kick. And that clears it up. If that is the rule, that clears up the decision. If it's not the rule, then it's just a mess.